Shonen style flashback no jutsu. That's right, my friends. This week's episode of Naruto Shippuden is a flashback fest. Despite that, there are still some really great things about this episode. The biggest development is that Obito is finally going to start working with Kakashi and the other group, trying to heal Naruto, and it's going to be a great team up with his old partner. My favorite scene of this week's episode is when it looks like he's getting ready to work with Madara. They get ready to shake hands, and then he ends up just shoving his fist right through his chest, all in an effort to try and extract all of the Bijou chakra and try to get that to heal Naruto. This leads to this fantastically animated scene where Obito is literally within the mind or consciousness of Madara while pulling out the Bijou chakra. And this scene looks so good. Just the lighting and just the overall look of everything. It's definitely the real highlight of this week's episode. Despite that, that's really all that really happens. Is just Obito decides to betray Madara and go against his ideals of Madara believing that if you're going along with my plan, everyone's Madara. Collective consciousness, take over the world. That's his big plan. But throughout the whole course of the episode, basically it's just flashbacks of Obito hanging out with Rin and building his rivalry with Kakashi. We have seen this before. It's just more reinforcement. It's not awful. It's way better than any of the filler that I saw over the course of the last couple months, but it didn't really get me all that excited. The first half of the episode is definitely the reason to check this one out. Despite that, the second half does have some funny moments. I do like when they have this competition, this ninja competition, where people can come up and use a jutsu and they can actually win this shiny crystallized kunai. And of course, Obito comes in there, does his fire technique. It's kind of wimpy and it sucks. Kakashi comes in like a badass and uses this weird mud wave ability, which actually makes the ground move and shake, and it impresses all the judges. Everybody loves Kakashi. It's basically just sort of like the same relationship that Naruto and Sasuke, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru had. It's just the same thing. We've seen it before, and that's not to say that the manga version didn't have flashbacks either. They just didn't have as many, and they're actually building up to that event. In fact, next week's episode, again, looks like there's going to be even more flashbacks. I hope they get through them pretty quick, although there were some scenes in the preview that did look nice. Despite that, it looks like it's going to be more of the same. So what's the rundown? On this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden, an incredibly simple episode that had some nice moments, but for the most part it was just flashbacks, reminding you about Obito's past and how his whole story has sort of come full circle, and how he sort of found himself again. And it is kind of cool, how when Black Sasuke's getting ready to leave, he's actually resisting and pulling that back towards his body. This way Madara can't have an overly huge power-up. But even after being stabbed by Obito, that doesn't really bother Madara. He's a little shocked by it at first, but right after that, he gets right into the battle. The animation highlight of this week's episode, without a doubt, like I said, is the scene where he tries to steal all the Bijou chakra, and just everything looks great there. Just the overall look of the giant mass of all of the different Bijou who are combined together in this giant ball of monster goodness. It just looks fantastic. It's one of the scenes that I think actually did really great justice to the manga version. In fact, I think it looked a lot better, and it was definitely my favorite thing about this week's episode. There are a few funny moments with Obito at the end, just reminding us that he's basically just the Uchiha Naruto version. But otherwise, yeah, just a lot of flashbacks. Obito betrays Madara, and that's what you get from this week's episode. But if you are a Naruto fan, you should definitely check out this week's episode. It has some incredibly important developments, and maybe you'll like the flashbacks. Maybe you'll, get a little bit of nostalgia just from seeing Obito hanging out with all of his friends. Otherwise, just an okay episode, but still, it's moving into the right direction. We are getting closer and closer to the finale of the series, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do with it. But this episode right here, just sort of an average fun episode of Naruto that did have some good moments. So I'm going to give this week's episode a 3 out of 5. Check it out, Naruto fans. If you like the manga version, if you've been watching the anime, check it out. You might see something you like. So, I thought this was an okay episode, but what about you guys? Did you watch this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden? Did you have a favorite moment, a favorite flashback moment? What do you want to see from the rest of the Naruto anime series? Please tell me in the comments section below. Thank you guys for watching my review. Make sure to like it and share it with all of your friends, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews as they are released. Make sure to also check out our brand new podcast show. It's really freaking awesome, and you guys can also follow us on social media. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby.